All right, so it's streaming live. So welcome, Joseph. This is our Tuesday show. We usually start around 5:15, and we were talking in the pre-show how sometimes it's 5, sometimes it's 5:15, but welcome, Joseph.
Thank you. Thank you for having me, Carl.
Well, we're going to get into a lot of the things where we want to do some of the things that or be connected with a lot of the things that you do. So I'm going to give everybody a little introduction, let them know who's on our show today. This is the FICA podcast, our Tuesday edition. If you're in Hawaii, we call ourselves the Pauhana Posse. We could start at 5:15 ish, but Joseph Taumua. Joseph has been around the sun 41 times, 41 years, and is a proud Pacific Islander, homosexual man. Joseph is honored to be blessed and chosen by God to, I'm going to mess this up, and I'm going to mess up probably a lot because I have an ad to
It's bad.
as well. So, Ainga Oao Sotoa Payne of Fanga'alu, American Samoa, and Tario Tilingo Taumua of Taputimu, American Samoa, to be his parents. Joseph would like to acknowledge and recognize his upbringing by his late grandparents, High Talking Chief Iole Longono Rapi Sotoa, Estelle Talamaivao Faumuina Sotoa, and his late great great aunt, Mualeoa Taele Mika. So, welcome, Joseph.
Yay! I'm excited. You said it perfectly.
Yeah, well, I've got a COVID-19 ad that I had to get translated and written for me. So, we'll see how that goes later in the show.
Well, I'm on the same boat with you, so that's how I pronounce. But I'm getting better. Just practice, right?
Hey, that's you grow when you're uncomfortable, and I'm going to be very uncomfortable later in the show. So, how's your week? So you're down in Southern California. I'm in Northern California, and everybody talks in terms of COVID-19 about just the wildfire of cases, and I hear about it in Southern California. But does it seem worse to you now than it was like in November?
Oh gosh, yeah. Actually, I just all it takes is just following directions here, and I think most of the time we tend to forget that, like, if we keep working on this together, we wouldn't have more cases, but unfortunately it's happening. Yeah, so yeah, it's pretty hard out here, down here in San Diego, and at least in Southern California.
Yeah, I think the pressure of the cases and the intensive care beds and the hospital capacity and all that kind of thing. I think that there are a lot of people now starting to look at the percentages, right? Because if you don't,
Exactly.
oh, if you're
And
sick,
this, right,
yeah,
so we really need to take those precautions, because I think it's important that people understand that health is important, and especially in our community, the 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 percentage rate out there in our Pacific Islander community is pretty, it's crazy.
yeah. We're Poly by Design is on the COVID-19 task force, the response team.
Nice.
The stats is just it's like we keep thinking it's going to get better, it's going to get better, but it's not going to get better for us until it gets better. Like we're the end of the whip, so to say, like the end of the curve. So the curve's going to start getting better, and we're not going to get better until it's a real downward trend. So
Yeah.
um, just crazy times, crazy times. What's going on in San Diego for you right now?
Right now, I just, lately so, I took a break a little bit from community work, meaning me doing community work, but I help out on the sidelines, just, do what I can. Lately, I've just been focused on work, on my career, and just making sure that, I mean, that's another community part of me that, even though I get paid for it, but also I need to make sure that my team still stays well informed about what's going on in the world. So, but it's been busy, especially trying to maintain what we do have coming in, keeping our team on payroll. Like, a lot of those things are playing. Pandemic is affecting everyone, so us, a lot of our leadership team had to make some cuts, unfortunately, but um, we know that at the end of the day, at the end of the tunnel, the light is going to shine brighter. And then, we get to have our team come back. But right now we had to focus on what's needed to keep us open. But it's just been work, a lot of work. And then helping out some of my colleagues with, just sharing that information like you do with the task force. Yeah, we have some people that sit on that task force down here in San Diego. So it's just making sure that we spread the word and trying to get people to just listen and hear what's going on and understand and educate themselves about the importance of making yourself aware of what's going on.
Awesome. So there's so many things going through the bio. I was thinking, you know what? I'm not going to read all of it. We're going to go through of it together, so that everybody gets to know kind of who you are and what you're doing. And I was thinking, like, where should we start? Should we start with the family? Should we start with? But I guess we'll start with what are you doing right now? What's your priorities? What big things you have going on? I know that you're involved with the Utopia chapter down there.
Yeah.
COVID-19 has smashed a ton of the normal things that we do, like the Pride Parade was canceled in San Francisco, first time in, I don't know, since it started. What are you going on? Like, what's a normal time for you? What are you focusing your time and energy on?
So basically, especially with this pandemic, we're trying to figure out ways to still have things keep going. It's the new normalcy for us. So it's just making sure that, like we have this media, what we're doing now is keeping that dialogue open and being able to figure out ways to put on certain events as much as we can. I know there's a lot of my sister chapters that do what they do, like our Seattle chapter in San Francisco, trying to keep that dialogue going. And I commend them. Unfortunately, here in San Diego, because we've taken about like the San Diego chapter for Utopia, we kind of are on a little hiatus, only because some of us have gotten married, are having kids, going off to school. We're a young group, so we decided that let's put it on hold. Let's get this pandemic over with, and focus on what's needed, which is our families, and then our work life, our personal life, and trying to focus on trying to regain some of that energy back. So when things do come back, that we can just move forward and be more creative with how we do things with this new normal.
Yeah, I think a lot of things are kind of, almost like just hit the pause button. Like,
Yeah,
we'll hit the
it's good. Oh,
like,
sorry.
but and
Go ahead.
Taffy's got some really that chapter up in Seattle is doing some great things. They're really kind of the cutting edge of the Utopia chapters and how they've been able to, not necessarily size, right? The bigger group doesn't mean necessarily the better group or the more effective group, but they're just able to help a lot of people. So
Yeah.
exciting to watch them grow from afar.
Oh, I am super elated and proud of our Utopia in general, all chapters, especially because now we're growing. But I'm really, 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 really excited about Taffy and her team and the work that they're producing. It's really, I hats off to them, because I know it's like with her leadership and Neo's leadership, and like I've never met Manu Malo, but I'm flabbergasted about the work that they're producing. There's a lot of great people out there, and the Utopia chapter, I'm excited where we're at as an organization. But yeah, Taffy is doing really good work out there in Seattle.
Yeah, it's exciting to see. I think just to see different chapters popping up, in different regional areas of the
Yeah.
country, and seeing the growth of that. Is there, let's see, were there any events that, being from, doing a lot of work in the Bay Area, the cancellation of the Pride Day, Pride Parade, all that got, COVID-19, just one of those things that got dropped. in the path of COVID-19. Were there any particular events in San Diego that got canceled that you particularly missed? I know we missed getting together, but that was really the one that stuck out to me in 2020 was having been in the parade, having felt that energy, having been down there, and then to not have it in 2020 was something that really stood out to me. Was there any particular events that stuck out to you in 2020 that you didn't get to experience?
Oh my gosh. The two biggest ones for me, because I've been involved for quite some time, was one, Pride. Pride it was unfortunate. And because our Pride is in July, and we wanted to they did something virtual. And that's us, you still trying to get used to the virtual stuff, right? So, but it wasn't the same. So, but I sure did miss Pride. And one for our own people is PIFA, the Pacific Islander Festival. That's one of the greatest festivals that I missed. And because of the pandemic, of course, Pause has played a big a factor in how we want to put on these events. But those are the two main ones for me, and I really do miss those.
So in 2017, Naki and I were, and we have her mom lives in San Diego. We have family in San Diego.
Oh, I know, Auntie Evelyn.
Like we got to go to PIFA, and
Yeah.
then 2017, I don't know what happened, but then it didn't happen. So we're like, we're gonna go. Oh no, I'm sorry, 2018, and then 2019 we had planned it, but for some reason we didn't make it. So 2020 we'd actually put it on the calendar,
Yeah.
and we were going to go no matter what. Like it didn't matter what was coming up, we were going. And then COVID happened, and so that is still one of the. And there's a few that the Aloha Festival. There's
In
one
Arizona.
that we're looking at, but the big one that we want to get to is PIFA. That we see the pictures, we see all the energy coming from that. So talk about your involvement with that, and tell us how good of a time we're going to have next year.
Oh my gosh. Or maybe even this year. You never know, right? But it's crazy. You said 2017. That was the year I was president. I was actually president for 2016 and 17. And I've been on the board. I started, I forgot what year, but it's been a while. But I was on the board. I was a board member for about 6 years. And then after that, 3 years as vice president, and then 2 years as president. So I've been on for quite some time. But I've known the festival since it first started. Uh, I known it since it first started back in oh my god, wait, what year is this? Oh, when it first started, when I was with the Samoan Community Council dancing. But to see where it's grown now, oh my gosh, if I could tell you all the stories, this is Faika right now is not enough time for all that. But it has grown to be, people don't know, Carl, that the festival itself was recognized as the largest Pacific Islander festival in the world. Did
Wow.
you know that?
Wow.
Yeah, and it's such an honor just to have San Diego be a part of that that.
Know that.
Yeah, it was known to be the largest, and I think it still is. I mean, over the course of the weekend, we would gather about 120 to 160,000 people, and we're not supposed to be that big, but hush hush. But yeah, and it makes my heart warm to see that not only do our Pacific Islanders take pride in that weekend, but you see others who gravitate and engage with our communities because there's so much hospitality, there's so much love. This weekend offers all of that. You set aside all the politics, anything that goes on in the world, but when it comes to the festival, it really turns on a different. You turn a channel, and you're just. Oh, you just taken all, like, I'm surprised you have not been down there. And you need to make sure you let me know because, you know, we can still make things happen for you guys to come down. It would be awesome to have you guys.
Oh, the next time it happens, we're going to be there. Because we like 2020, we're like, we don't care what happened. Well, obviously we care now because COVID happened. But that was, if it happened, we were going to be there. And we had told, so actually, let me back up. You know, Auntie Evelyn. How do you know Auntie Evelyn?
Oh my gosh, you know, through the church, it's how it all starts, right? So I go to a church which is known as the First Samoan Congregational Christian Church of San Diego, actually in the United States. So, you know, when you bring all of the churches together, when we gather for gatherings, you know, like, you know, those love is, but yeah, of course, Auntie Evelyn, she's the first lady. And every time I see her, I'm always in awe of her beauty. And I'm like, and I feel the same way about Naki. And I'm like, girl, you're gorgeous. And then come to find out, I didn't even know until recently that that's her mom. And I was like, oh, no wonder. But yeah, that's how, of course, through church, that's where it all starts, right? So, but yeah, it's really nice to know that there's a relation and I'm able to actually figure out how it works. And, you know, because our community, especially our Samoan community, because that's how it works. It's who you're related to and how you're related, you know?
She's actually our show, Faika, short for Faika Kala.
Yeah.
But it's named because of her. Naki and I were sitting in the car one time brainstorming, like we could do a podcast and then we could go to an event, like trying to figure out like what Poly by Design might be. And then we thinking like, what could we name the podcast? And Auntie Evelyn used to always say, she would have you take her picture and then put it on Facebook. And she doesn't even have a Facebook at that time. So she would say, put it on Facebook, and then she'd be like, who likes it? How many people commented? Like, she was completely, you know, a Facebook person. So Naki had told her, you need to get a Facebook, Mom. She's all, oh no, those are for Faika Kalas.
It sure is.
We were like, we'll call it Faika. So the name of the podcast actually is because of Auntie Evelyn and her desire to know all the goings on Facebook without a Facebook account.
Yeah, it's crazy. I love it because that's what we could all, especially our Samoan people, that's what we could all, we all know that word and how to use it. So it's hilarious. And you know, another funny thing is, you know, I used to go to the gym here in our hometown, National City, and when I went to the gym and I noticed, I had to really think about if that was Auntie Evelyn, and I was like, no, that can't be the Falitua at the gym. She came up to me, Josefa, and I was like, okay, Auntie, it's so crazy. I was like, there is some normalcy to our Falituas. And everything else. So yeah, it was cool. She's very down to earth and I really, really admire her.
Yeah. I remember I called her one time to wish her happy birthday.
Yeah.
And I'm talking to her for 3 or 4 minutes and I hear some noise in the back. I go, Auntie, are you busy? Do you need to go? And she goes, oh no, I'm on the treadmill. I'm okay. The whole time she's been having a conversation in the gym with her phone up. And you know, Auntie doesn't care. Evelyn, Evelyn doesn't. Who hears? Probably the more people that hear, the better. But I was busting up like, no. If you're on the treadmill, I'll let you go because I'm sure people around you might not want to hear our conversation. But she's a kick in the pants. She's a little bundle of energy.
Yeah, she is. She's a bundle of energy, and I wish I had her energy.
We all do. Her calls start. Naki says her calls start at like 6 a.m.
Yeah. I remember when I even saw her at PIFA, just admiring and enjoying the festival itself. It was really nice to see her, especially because, you know, my heart really goes out to our elders. I admire our elders a lot, and you know that just comes down to respect. And she's one of them that I respect out here. And it was really, I love that lady to pieces. There's a few of them that I remember scary. I get scared because that's what they did to me. You know, when they okay, but I won't name them out loud. But yeah, yeah, she, you know, going back to the festival, like people like her, Carl, is one, I will say honestly, is one of the reasons why the Pacific Islander Festival events, and when I say our, it's not just our here in San Diego, it's ours, you and I, people all over the world, because I think it's important people understand that, you know, why we like to fulfill the mission in our communities is to make sure that we are able to, regardless if we're not home on the islands, we're able to perpetuate it here in the United States. So yeah, and now that you made me think about like NC Evelyn, I think about like those who have passed. Like I think about those elders, and that's why PIFA exists, and that's why it's been so successful. I mean, you know, we have our challenges because you know setting up that festival is a challenge.
Talk about
Permit.
logistics of getting ready for thousands of people. A lot of people don't really appreciate that because you show up, there's cool food vendors, there's cool, you know, t-shirt vendors, there's music, there's a dance, you know, all those kind of things. And people who aren't behind the scenes kind of take it for granted, like it's all there, it's cool. Talk through how you got involved with that, and then maybe just a little bit about the magnitude of setting an event up for thousands of people.
Oh my gosh, you know, and honestly, and it started with my auntie Kiki. You know, you're gonna hear me mention her a lot. You know why? Because everything that I did or do, it really just stems from her because it was her leadership. She's like she's a mentor to me. And there's quite a few, but none that can match up to my auntie Kiki. But she did kind of drive me into the work that I do, and that started off as you know, because it's what we do, it's what we gays do. We love to decorate. So she got me involved in a small portion, a fraction of work to help out PIFA, and that's by decorating the VIP booth and also taking lead of the VIP booth at PIFA, which led into some individuals who thought, hey, maybe we should get him on board. And so it was Brian Cruz, and I don't know if you know Tana Lepule.
I heard the name. I heard the name.
So they were former presidents as well, but they reached out to me, and then next thing you know, I became a member first, and just helped out volunteering as a committee leader, and it was with my auntie Hiki, and then excuse me, and then it led into what else I wanted to do, right? So I wanted to do more. So when they asked me to become a member, I became a member. And then I literally just worked my way up into helping out the festival. And then I ended up taking care of all the booths. Oh gosh, that was a headache in itself. Because you know, when it comes to dealing with our community, it's always trying to get the best bargain. And this is Faika and also spilling tea. But and then like it went from there to like I was just more into like involved like mindset like about the logistics and the gathering, right? And then I thought when I ran for VP, I thought, oh, maybe I'm too young, because you know when the organization's so set on you know, there's a certain age group or a generation, especially before me. um I thought, no, but actually I got asked, and so I did it, and I was vice president for 3 years. And then when I was asked about running for president, I wasn't sure what that meant at first. Well, no, I'm sorry, I did, but I did it for the wrong thought of it for the wrong reasons.
Mhm.
But then I thought there's a greater value to the position, and I thought, oh, utilizing this platform would be to help out communities in every aspect or every element, every component of this of this festival, which is to promote our entrepreneurs, right? Those who love to cook, restaurants, not just t-shirts, but like designs, artists. And then my favorite part of the one of my favorite parts of the festival was also the info booths, is being able to reach out to our greater communities, and bringing them in so that way they can share their information about their organizations and how we can actually partner up and create a momentum together, you know? And then, of course, you can never go wrong with the songs and dances of our Melanesia, Micronesia, Polynesia. So, and then when I took on that first year was trying to, you know, dip my toe in the water. And it was a really good year. And then I got asked to do it a second year, and I ran, and then I won. And then I said, you know what? I need to think bigger. And I wasn't able to, you know, because there's a lot of, you know, as much as the things we wanted to do, there's always those regulations with the city you have to think about, and the money plays a big part. And then, but my passion still wanted to keep doing and push as much as we can. And then, honestly, that year was so stressful that I put everything in the back on the back burner, that I forgot about my health, you know, and I needed to figure out how to stay sane because I was so wanting to do more. That was the year I decided, okay, no more president. I'm gonna run for board. And then I thought, yeah, I'm overwhelmed and a little tired, because I was actually doing PIFA and Utopia at the same time. And people don't realize, you know, they say, well, he's getting paid for it. No, sorry, we don't. You know, we do it because we love our communities.
That's heart work.
That's heart's work, not just hard work, but it's heart's work.
Right.
And I decided, yeah, I really need to just focus on me, and then just, you know, and you know, help from the sidelines. And then it's always good to know those who are those elected officials. You know, I'm not going to put names out there, but you know, when you want to brew some things, you know, I'm working on a couple things, and it's, I'm not pushing it to happen anytime soon, but hopefully 2022 will shine brighter than anything. And yeah, so I'm working on a couple things, but yeah, going back to that, I decided to, like, I wanted to focus on things that I wanted to do for me, and one was to make sure I spend more time with my family, which I have been, it has been really, really nice, especially with a new nephew I have. My sister, who just had a baby in August of last year. And then and then going back to what I love to do is teaching. And I went back to teaching with my aunt, helping out my aunt Kiki as one of her assistants, and that's been fun, and being groomed by her. So it's been nice. And then focusing on work and family and friends, that I've been able to balance out a few things.
As you talk about like Utopia and PIFA,
Yeah,
there's one thing that could be a drawback about doing what you love, is that, like, if I hate, I don't know, if I hate roofing, right? There's never any danger of me doing too much roofing and not paying attention to the rest of my life. But
yeah,
if I love, like, putting PIFA together or running Utopia or helping the community, if I love that, it's pretty easy to get lost and not focus on, like, there's a big push in the last few years for community advocates and activists to take care of themselves, because you can't
yeah,
help anybody if you're run down and you have no energy. But it's so easy to get wrapped up in what you love because you love it, so you're in danger of overdoing things that you love. If you hate something, in danger of you overdoing that, you hate it, like, you're going to stop doing at every opportunity. But when you have so many things, you're doing so many things that you love, I think it's hard to maintain self health, to make sure that you're taking time for yourself, because you just love what you're doing, and it's that heart work. It's easy to get swept up in that.
Yeah.
And it sounds like you've focused on that and you've got more balance now than you had maybe when you're just and it's a good thing, right? You just get lost in what you love. That in your it was interesting in your biography, in your bio, it was very important for you to talk about your great great aunt Mualeoa Taele Mika. It was very important for you to talk about your grandparents and your heritage. So if there's one thing that one or two or three things you think that, because like when I do things, sometimes I think about my father who passed away, and I'll do things and I'll be like, man, he's proud of me for that. Like I spent time with, my son, and I talked to him about planning for his future and taught him some things, to help him with life the other night. And I came away from that thinking, man, my dad's smiling. He's proud of me for what I just did. What are some things that, as you do, because your lineage is so important to you, where
Yeah.
you look at and go, yeah, like my grandparents and my great great aunt, like they're proud of me for doing those things. What are some of those things that come to mind when you think about that?
Oh my gosh, it's always trying to, like, I mean, we're already automatically proud, right?
Hmm.
And pride goes a long way with our communities in general. But making sure that they understand that, like, what I did just was to make sure that we were well taken care of, that they understand that we wanted to make sure that we just did them proud. Like, I think people need to understand that, like, when they paved ways for us to be to get here where we're at. I think it's important people need to understand that, they gave us a way to level up on how we think, how we speak, how we educate ourselves, how we're able to produce the work. So when I think about those things, I think about the love, the strides, and how proud they must be of us, and and how they gave us the opportunities to, like, to build ourselves up and make something of ourselves.
Yeah,
Those are a few. I know you asked probably one, two, or three. I just gave you a lot, but
hey, it's FICA.
it's yeah, it's crazy because I think about my grandparents and my great great aunt, because you did mention my great great aunt, and my great great aunt. I can honestly tell you, my great great aunt was the really. I might even just choke up a little, but she was the matriarch of our family. And when I think about her, I just think about, like, the sacrifices that she had to make, and making sure that what she did for us, it will never go unnoticed. I need to make sure I do right by that. And what does that mean? And that just doesn't mean um, making sure that I pay my bills on time or whatnot. It's making sure that I just do right, being trustworthy, trying to be more honest with myself and others. And, like, I think about those things, and I just wonder, like, like, honestly, I wonder about those. I wonder, like, how, I don't know, it's hard to say, but uh, yeah, when it comes to my elders, I always think about those things. That's why when you talk about Etsy, Evelyn, I think about these elders that make me want to, like, push to do more, because if it weren't for them, we wouldn't be here.
So
And
so true.
yeah. So, but yeah. Oh gosh, Carl. Whoa. I have a cold heart. No, I'm joking. But when you ask things like that, and especially about the elders, it gets me all trucked up, because I think about our elders, especially my grandparents and my great great aunt, who raised not only raised only me, but she raised my grandmother all the way to the youngest grandchild, which is Kiki's daughter.
Wow.
Yeah, and it's crazy. That's three generations.
Great, great.
Yeah,
Great for a reason.
crazy. Yeah,
Carl,
but yeah,
uh,
I yeah.
if watching on Facebook, please share this out. so that our friends and family and people that we know can hear Joseph Taumua's story. We're going to talk about growing up and kind of what created him in experiences. When we come back, we're going to take a quick break here. So if you speak Samoan, hold your ears because this is going to sound kind of Samoan is going to come out. But I am a big believer in if you're not uncomfortable, you're not growing.
Exactly.
Here we go. O lea ua maua tui vaila au mole COVID-19. E muli pui puia sao ngale mu ma talawhea ngai ia tui vaila au I lona whaau ngaina. Ma o loo ave noa e au noa ma se totongi. O loo whaasoasoa e se awala e launga tasia ai le toatele. Ma o loo whaia vainga lona tufa o le tui vaila au a whai o le a o atu ia te oe le whaasolonga e mo mia le whaia loa e lea tui vaila au whaatasi ai ma le wha au awina pea o le wha au ngaina o le ufi fofonga. O le wha o ngaina o ia tulanga uma o le a whesoasoane tele malo tinea o le nei wha maitunga. O le whaalinga le nei ua whaia ma le wha alo tele e ala atu I le ofisa tu totono o le Sierra Health Foundation. So that was COVID-19 vaccines are here. The vaccines are safe, effective, and available at no cost. They're being distributed through a fair and phased approach. When it's your turn, get vaccinated and keep wearing a mask because together we can end the pandemic. This message is brought to you by the Center at Sierra Health Foundation. So it's hard to go a whole show without talking about COVID-19 and talking about being safe and social distancing and wearing a mask. And I love the saying that we had in one of our COVID-19 talks, Coviki talks, where a doctor talked about what does love your neighbor look like? Love your neighbor looks like wearing a mask out of respect for your neighbor, for your loved ones, and for the people that you're around, or even people that you don't know, wearing it when you're going to the grocery store and those kind of things. So, talking about the vaccine, talking about being safe, talking about not gathering, especially for our community and our people, is especially important because social distancing is the most effective way to fight the spread of the virus. And it's also the one thing that we control. That's the thing that we control the most. So it's hard. Church gatherings, funerals, all those kind of things that is just unknown or unheard of in our community to not attend and not gather and not hug and greet people like that. It's harder for us than it is for community. So can't go a show without talking about that, even in halting Samoa. So we're getting back to Joseph Taumua. Talk a little bit about growing up. Where geographically, like where you went to school and your upbringing, but then maybe a look at a younger Joseph and what did you want to do when you were, I don't know, like the 10-year-old you. Could you look at your 10-year-old you and say, hey, we're doing good?
I think about my upbringing. I used to ask my family, a few of my aunties. I was raised with women. Like, I mean, of course you had some men, but I was raised with women, strong women, and that's how I felt empowered about being advocating for not just our community, but especially the women that surrounded me. But man, I was born and raised, so born here in California. I say predominantly raised in California because when my parents were, when they were married, my dad was in the military. We lived in Guam for a little bit. Divorced, I came back to California. Me and there's 10 of us siblings, 3 of them steps, 3 of them half, and then 4 from my mom and dad. And then Me and the youngest sibling moved here to California on my mom's side, and the two middle ones moved with my dad's side, and then raised here in National City. I went to Sweetwater Union. I went to Pomeroy Elementary, to Granger Junior High, to Sweetwater Union High School. And then, of course, you know, I was all right in high school. And then knowing what I know now, I wish I could take with me then. I said I should have done better in high school.
I think we all look back at high school and go, if I'd have known now what was really important and not what I
Yeah,
thought was important.
exactly. Oh my gosh. But I mean, I also take what I wish I had done in high school and making sure that I advocate for those things now, and making sure that I push for higher education, especially for our kids, because I think I know it's important, but oh man, I can tell you, Carl, I thought I was never spoiled, and then I always asked, I said, we weren't spoiled. I used to tell that to my aunties, and they were like, yeah, you were. I was spoiled. And then I was like, no, I was never spoiled. I never talked like this. I always had I was never spoiled. And they were like, no, you were spoiled. And I was like, okay, maybe I was spoiled. But then I thought, yeah, I was spoiled with lots of love. They just left me because, I am who I am, and I'm going to continue. No, just joking. But not really. But and then, yeah, my upbringing, I was always surrounded by family. I was always surrounded by the church. I was always surrounded because my aunt Kiki started the dance, the Taupo. I was around all of that all the time. So it was great. I mean, I got to explore a lot of different things when I was younger. And then high school happened, and then that was fun. I wish, like I said, I already mentioned, I wish I could have done better, but I did do good enough. And then I graduated from high school, and then my mom, who was still living in Guam, had asked after high school if I wanted to move with her. And then I was like, oh, what? That was like another big step in my life, because I've always been raised with my grandparents and my great aunt and my aunties. And so when I said, okay, let's give it a try, so I gave it a try, and I can remember the first time I stepped on that island of Guam, I was like, why is it so hot?
That's what I've heard by a lot of people that visit Guam.
Oh my gosh, Carl, it is so hot. And then someone said, well, it's the closest island to the equator. I was like, what? So I lived in Guam. I lived there for 7 years. I went to University of Guam. And that's actually where it all started for me in the hospitality industry. I worked at my first hotel in Guam. And gosh, man, the resorts, hotels out there had, I was really fortunate compared to what we have here. It's so, you go from something that's so not busy to the city lights here. Wow, what a big difference when I moved back. But I started off as a sports activity attendant at the poolside, trying to act cool like I'm a real lifeguard. But yeah, I was making, oh my gosh, the what do you call that, minimum wage then. I always tell people about this because I was making $3.45.
Oh, for territories, I think. The
Yeah,
federal minimum wage somehow is different in like U.S. Virgin Islands, Guam, American Samoa.
yeah, it
Uh,
was crazy. I never, oh my gosh. And then yeah, I was like, oh no, yeah, I couldn't believe like how people were living off of that. And then I was like, oh well, I kind of get it. But yeah. And then next thing you know, I gave my mom a run for her money because I was a headache.
it's amazing how we can recognize that now, but in the
Believe me,
headache, I'm easy to get along with.
I was a real headache. I was a headache for her and my stepdad. But they unconditionally, they love me unconditionally. I was a headache when I came back because I really did. I don't know. I didn't know what to do with my life. Right. I didn't really get. until I came back. No, actually, I did. It's just that I never really stuck to one thing. I did so many different things, and um, when I moved back, um, then when I moved back in 2004, and then I went to my first PIFA back after so many years, right?
Mm.
Oh my gosh, I couldn't believe the magnitude. It was huge. Next thing you know, I came back to my Auntie Kiki and to dancing, and then yeah, then it just went from there. And then I had my challenges, and then when Utopia came about, and it was with I call him uncle, but people always say no, it's your cousin, but out of respect because of age difference. But I always called him uncle. But so I said, God rest his soul. He brought up Utopia, and then I looked more into it, and the next thing you know, we met up. We met. I don't know if you know Neo.
Mm-hmm. Neil.
Yeah, then yeah, we met Neo over the phone and never met physically. But and next thing you know, we wanted to do Utopia. Then I remember I take that back. I started off with San Juan Community Council. Then I went to PIFA. Then I decided, because I wasn't so big to PIFA yet, then Utopia came. And then when Utopia came, it just all came together. And next thing you know, I was like, oh my gosh, I'm important a little. Like I need to mature already. Next thing you know, I am where I'm at now, and I don't regret anything. I've I've learned a lot, and I cherish them because the goods, the bads, the sideways.
Yeah, I think that a lot of people, and this is just me, right?
Yeah,
Everybody's, but to me, I've made a ton of mistakes in my life, but I wouldn't change any of them because I love who I am today,
yeah,
and I'm the result of all my experiences. So if I say I wish I wouldn't have, done this, or I wish I wouldn't have, like, I wish all my mistakes away, maybe I'm not the person that I am today, and I'm happy with who I am. So
yeah,
all the mistakes that I've made and the things that I've done, some of them are very unfortunate, but I don't wish anything like I would have done that different, or like, but I joke around about high school. I think I probably could have
yeah,
made it a little easier if I would have done different, things different when I was younger. But, just like you said, I'm good. I'm happy with who I am today. So I don't necessarily, wish that I didn't have all my bad experiences. They're painful, but,
yeah.
I learned from them.
Exactly. And I sometimes try not to contradict myself, right? And then I'm like, I just did, and I'm like, Well, anyways, you learn as you go, right? And if I was to sum it all up, because now that I think about it, if I was to sum it all up, I can really tell you I was really extra, and I still am extra. So, as my Auntie Kiki would say, and the rest of my family.
I remember Naki saying one time, "I'm not extra. I'm hella extra. Like I'm extra, and that's just the way I am." But I mean, I think that people that are just honest and open and about who they are confident like that. Like, this is who I am, and love me, kind of like me, don't like me, but I think we get caught up a little bit too much, especially with like social media. Like, I'm portraying that I'm this person, but am I really that person? And I think there's problems with that of like, well, everybody likes this person. So now I actually like trying to fool myself into thinking I'm somebody that I'm not. So it's just easier for me and this comes with age. Trust me, when I was younger, I was trying to be I was trying to be somebody I wasn't. But as I've gotten older, it's just easier to let everybody know who I am. And if they love me and they want to be around me, I know that they actually want to be around me, not the person that I've created for them to want to be around. Because
Amen. Heard that, Carl.
eventually those are gonna, you know, those are gonna clash. Eventually they're gonna find out, hey, you're not the person. That's not who you are. But
Well, like you mentioned social media, like one of the biggest things I mean, I can shoot you in the gut with some words. And it's because I'm passionate too, right? People need to understand that. But if it doesn't come, and that's the beauty of language, it's so powerful. And people might read it wrong, but that's not my intent. Because if you know me, then you understand where I'm coming from. Sometimes I might just, I might just have to do a little Faika, in a general Faika, so that you understand. And if you feel bad about it, then there's something that might have happened that you did, and you need to, be reprimanded for it. Sorry if my words gotcha.
Hey, whoever said that was the saying, sticks and stones will break my bones, but words hurt. Like I'd rather, like some of the things I went through as a kid, I'd rather get hit than have words said to me like, you're worthless, or you're never going to be something. All those hurt worse than getting smacked. Like,
Yeah.
I would go ahead and rather just get smacked a bunch and not hear words that I've later got to rectify with myself and have to deal with when you're 10 and you get told something about your self-worth. Like that stuff that sticks with you until you finally work it out. I'd rather not go through all that.
Yeah.
So, is there usually, there's an idea of where we go, and then we get into the show and we just go and talk about whatever. Were there things you wanted to cover today that we haven't yet?
Oh, first I just want to say thank you for like this opportunity just to have a chat with you. I followed you guys when you first came out, and I've been so like elated to just how many people you guys have had, and so I'm so proud of you guys. This is like so awesome, and so this is me thanking you for this honor. Like I'm really really excited to just chat and Faika because um it's been a while since I really put myself out there. And so for you guys to ask me to do this, I was like, yeah, let's do it. So I'm excited. But, I just want to let you know, I do have something brewing. So you and Naki better be ready when I reach out to you, okay?
We are, and we're not probably, we may get kicked out of San Diego by you. We're going to look you up, and when we come down there for FIFA, we're going to stay as long as we can until we get kicked out. But we are looking forward to whenever the next FIFA is. We are
Yeah.
going there. If it's 2021, then we're going to be there in 2021. If it's 2022, whenever it is, that's been on our calendar for a long time, and we were joking about that. Who'd have thought we would have end up going to Samoa first before we got to FIFA, because FIFA was on the docket way before Samoa was. So we're definitely going to look you up, and if you got anything going on that you want to talk to us about that we can help promote or push, or anything you got going on, we're game. We're part of it.
Yes, I'm excited. I can't believe it. I always, my family, I love it, Carl. I love it, love it, love it. Best believe, I think these are like the relationships I like to have and keep close, because there's going to be days where we're going to just have to reach out and let's make a bigger picture for everybody. And I want you guys to be a part of that picture, and who wouldn't? So I'm just letting you know.
We're with you. Thank you for coming on, and we'll have to do it again because we didn't cover nearly enough. So we'll just have to do it again another time. No big deal.
Yeah, and please send my love to Naki.
Yeah, I will.
Yeah.
Any shout outs?
Oh gosh, because just leading into this, honestly, can I just be honest with you, Carl?
Sure.
I thought this interview was at 6:30.
Oh.
I put it in my calendar for 6:30, so I was thinking, da, 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 and then my phone said 5, and then the email said 5. I rushed here, and then I was like, what? So I was like, hey, peeps, I have to go figure out the work stuff later. And so
that just means there's part two. That just means another one coming.
And then my family, shout out to my family for continuing to support me whatever I do. Thank you to Poly by Design for just being a voice for all of us so that we can be heard, and just fight up with everyone, and just thank you for this opportunity. And yeah,
well,
thank you, Carl.
It's been an honor, and we thank you for the minutes. I'm always a big waste no minutes guy, so I know minutes are precious, and thank you for spending the minutes with us. Naki, I'm sure you're watching when you should be resting.
Hey, Mac.
So you rest up and get better so that you can be on the show too. Yeah, I'm positive she's watching. So I'm gonna have to call Mena, her daughter, and tell her to take her laptop away. She actually police with her laptop. Her daughter takes her computer away.
Oh my God.
So she'll rest. But thanks everybody for tuning in. Check us out on Sunday from 10 a.m. to noon on our Facebook page. If you missed this, it will be posted on our YouTube page as well as our Facebook business page. It'll be on there for good, so you can check it out again and come see us on Sunday. Thank you, Joseph.
All right. You guys take care. Loving always.
Come back and Faika with us.
Always. Bye. Take care.
Bye.